Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from the entitled People subreddit. Ooh, spicy. From Snoo Seagulls 4821, and it says, entitled neighbor really did try to steal my parents' plant. I cannot believe it. I must have met a lot of entitled people, but never this entitled. It all started this morning. My parents love to plant flowers on their yard, from hibiscus to water lily. Their most prized and pride is definitely the bougainvilleas. This morning my mum went to water the plants and feed the koi fishes. Enter my elderly neighbor, around 80 plus years old. They were having a conversation and it goes like this. The neighbor says, "Can I have your bougainvilleas? 2 of them." Mum was confused and said, "As in cutting some to put in a vase?" "Sure." Neighbor replied, "No, I want to plant them in my yard." Mum said, "I'm not sure if the plant can grow after cutting. I will ask a gardener opinion. If can, I can cut it for you." Neighbor replied, "No, just dig out yours and put it in my yard. I have 2 empty holes and thought of your plants." Mum said, "What?" Neighbor said, "I like the red ones. When can you dig them up and put them in my yard?" Mum says, "I just bought those. I cannot give you those yet because it is still in the process of growing." Neighbor says, "Then let it grow in my yard. No need to wait for it to grow." Mum was getting frustrated and said, "Sorry, but no. If you want to, please go and buy the plant at the shop." The neighbor kept insisting my mum, even dragging my dad to give it to him for free. When they would not budge, he kept cursing and left. What? Update. That neighbor decided to injure my other neighbor's dog. We'll update when he came back from the veterinary clinic. Bamf said to this one, "Keep an eye out. There is a good chance that you're going to wake up to 2 holes in your flower bed." No Heat says, "And the neighbor will have 2 lovely bougainvilleas in their yard." Reddit says, "Such a coincidence." Lopsided Disaster says, "Dementia." Ethan replied to that saying, "Yes, this sounds 100% like someone who is suffering from dementia. We revert slowly and brutally to childhood. Think about a conversation with a 3-year-old. I want siblings' toys. You can't have it yet. It's hers and she's playing with it. Ask her if you can play with it when she's done." The reply, "But I need it now." Now, think about what's going on here. In essence, the same. A lot of posts here or in Boomers Being Fools have this vibe to me. Absolutely, with some of those comments, I can see the logic in those, that it is bizarre behavior, especially if you've seen nothing like this before, for this neighbor to come over to you and just demanding your plants in that kind of way. No talking about it, no, "Oh, did you get them from the local garden center?" or anything like that. Just give me your plants, put them in my yard, and then to go on and injure a dog is escalating in itself, right? My first immediate thought, that was someone who was speaking to me. I would want to speak to their family and find out if there's anything else going on. But absolutely, there's a chance it's just going to be entitlement. We have seen it time and time again, so of course OP needs to protect themselves and their property, of course. But around a week or so later, OP did come in with the update and says before the update, I'd have to give some history of this elderly. He's known around the neighborhood as grumpy, selfish, entitled, and OCD. Always parked his car, sweep the floor, throw garbage, etc. to his beside neighbor. They always confront him so many times, but he insisted he did nothing wrong. Even worse, his 80-plus-year-old wife also begs for forgiveness regarding everything he did. Regarding the dog, had to be admitted in the veterinary clinic. He broke the poor girl's tooth. He shoved his walking stick in her mouth. She was in her own yard resting. The elder, he walked into their yard, fenced, and that spooked the dog. She is a French bulldog. She barked at him and he shoved his walking stick in her mouth. Caught on CCTV. So they decided to have a conversation with my parent as witness. The entitled neighbor's wife will be representing him because he did not want to come out of the house. It goes like this. The wife says, "I'm so sorry, Mr. N, the dog owner, for causing so much problems." Mr. N says, "How are you going to fix this? He already keeps throwing his garbage into my yard, but I didn't say anything because of his age. Now, what did my dog do?" Wife replies saying, "He says your dog keeps barking whenever he walks by your house, so he was annoyed and decided to punish it." Mr. N says, "My dog is in my property. What right does he have?" The wife says, "Please forgive him. He's old. Plus, a dog's life is not equal to a human." Phew, dearie me. Yes, that is what she said. They keep arguing while my parents try to calm them down before authorities get involved. In the end, they decided to cool down first. Was hoping and that was the end. But no, it gets much worse. My parents' plants started to wilt one by one. They were distraught and confused until son of the entitled neighbor came and apologized. Turns out he did try to steal not just the bougainvilleas but also moth orchids. He cut their roots and now it's dying. We'll update later because my parents will be having a meeting with our whole family and neighborhoods. Comment says on this one, "This is trespassing, destruction of property and animal abuse. The dude is a menace and needs to be held accountable." OP says the problem is the entitled neighbor's family keeps excusing it, saying if we did sue, we are elderly abusing him. Avon says, "But you aren't. That's just blatantly false. Him being old doesn't excuse him facing consequences for animal abuse and property destruction." Storm Tomcat says, "On the contrary, if he's in full possession of his mental capacities, he's a bully and the family deserves a break from him. And if he's too old to know what he's doing, the family are in fact the ones abusing him by letting him run rampant and depriving him of proper care." Ice the Pressure says, "Lol, exactly this. They want to play that game. Let's play that game." Same with the wife claiming that the dog's life isn't equal to a human's. Lady, do you know how many people think the elderly aren't worth the air that they breathe? At least a dog is considered man's best friend. So then OP came in with another update and said, "Hey guys, sorry for the late update. Been so hectic with life and the neighbor that I completely forgot about my account. Don't know if any of you remember the previous post. I'll link it here," and shares a link. "Also, thank you so much for the replies and advice. I read almost all of them and made consideration of my choices that I have. Before the updates, I would like to answer some questions. 1. Why is he not in an old folks home? Because his whole family, and I mean all, 7 sons, 1 daughter, 3 daughter-in-laws, 9 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren live in the same house. The ones with family don't live there except during the weekends, holidays. Whenever there is any disturbance, all of them will be involved. So you can see why people tolerate with this elderly man. 2. The authorities have been involved before, but because all of them can look after him, he is healthy and mentally okay, it is out of their jurisdiction. 3. My parents just moved to this area around 1 year ago, and most folks that live in the area are old folks. Because my parents are still new, they don't really have a say in the people that live there for generations. As in, we live here for more longer than you, and no one was bothered. Why now?" Since I've answered some questions, on to the update. My neighbor, whose dog lost her teeth, filed a police report and are planning to sue them. The meeting tried to solve the problem peacefully, but because one of the sons is a gang leader, he brought his whole gang to the meeting as well. I think you can all imagine the chaos that was brought into this mess. The dog owner brought photos and a video of the incident, including mine where it clearly shows that he dug up the plant. But they keep trying to play it down and make it not a big deal. But the dog owner is not someone to play with as well. He literally says in front of them, "Then this will be settled in court, since you all don't want to take responsibility or making compensation for the mess your old man did. Mr. C, my dad, I will pay for your lawyer fees too. Let's sue him for both of our problems." That's how the meeting goes. The son was not willing to take responsibility, and my neighbor is not backing down. The elderly man hasn't shown his face since the meeting. I guess he knew he screwed up really badly. Oh, and recently he fell when trying to clean his cabinet. He hit his head pretty badly that needs to be hospitalized for a few days and stitches. Karma, I guess. And OP did add a video of this old dude sticking his cane through the neighbor's garden poking at the dogs. And obviously a lot of people telling OP to be careful after this, especially when it was mentions of gangs being involved. Maybe get some CCTV, all that sort of stuff to protect yourself. I guess they're already trying to be intimidating by the whole gang turning up to this meeting. But what do you guys make of this situation? How would you deal with it if it was you? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, Our next story comes from Queen of Moths from the Entitled People subreddit, and it says, actually, expecting me to clean up after my pet makes you entitled. Man, I'm still trying to process an exchange I had this morning. I was sitting on my balcony having breakfast, and there was this woman I've never spoken to walking her dog. We don't know her, but my roommate and I see her down there pretty much every day. She's around our age, I would guess, so either in her 30s like us or maybe in her 40s. We've never exchanged so much as a hello up to this point. Now, I really like my apartment complex. It's cute and pleasant to walk around, and the only thing that really sucks is when people don't clean up after their dogs. It's so freaking gross, and I hate when people don't do it. You're a grown-up who made a choice to have a pet. That comes with responsibilities that you have to keep up with. Most people around here do clean up after their dogs that I've seen, so we know it's just a few rotten eggs. If I see people who don't look like they're doing it, I call them out, which I know comes with risks, but come on people. The response is sometimes defensive, sometimes a bit of twisting the truth like, oh, I was just going to. But they all know they should be doing it. Anyway, this woman has her dog right by our balcony, and my friend and I were just chatting until I noticed the woman walking away without cleaning it up. So I said in a tone more polite than the situation probably merited, "Excuse me, are you going to clean up after your dog?" And she says in this snide, snotty voice, "No, I'm good, thanks." I immediately burst out laughing, though not the good-humored kind, because I couldn't believe the audacity. I said, "Wow, that's really pathetic," which apparently is more than she expected me to do, because she came marching back. I have to imagine most people don't call this woman out. For her to have that kind of immediate vitriol makes me think she's that kind of spoiled just in general and was angry I'd embarrassed her. But she clearly knew I was right because she had to come back and double down. So she comes running at us with this kindergarten logic and goes, "I'm not the only one who doesn't clean up after my dogs. Lots of people don't clean up after their dogs." And I was like, so? How does that absolve you of adding to the problem? She keeps going on about how other people do it too, so I said, "Cool, then give me their names. Let's have a list because I don't see any of them right now." And she's like, "Open your eyes and figure it out for yourself." I was like, that's what I'm doing right now. She keeps shouting that she doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to, and she doesn't care what I think. So I was like, holy crap, I've never met such an entitled person. It's insane to me that you're getting this angry over someone expecting basic decency out of you. And she says, "No, you're entitled." I burst out laughing again and said, "I clean up after my animals. Me telling you I don't appreciate you leaving messes on our shared property doesn't make me entitled. You're a grown-ass woman who knew what responsibilities she'd have when she got a pet. There are tons of people who don't want to see your dog's crap. You're not the main character." At this point, I feel like this woman has never been confronted beyond her first snarky response, and I have a bubbly and friendly tone normally, so she probably had expected to have scared me or shocked me into silence with that callous initial reaction, because she is practically melting down, trying to upset me while my friend and I laughed. She gave me a snarky, "Have a nice day," and I wished the same in an equal tone. Then she waddled off. And no, that's not me calling her fat. She was actually really fit, she just walked in a very exaggerated, cartoonish way like Jessica Rabbit or some crap. I thought she was going to be snarky, but my friend says she just always walks like that. We took a short video of her, sadly not of the incident itself, as we had to go grab our phones, and I plan to take it to the front office just to let them know. It's only step one. I doubt anything will be done with just this, but this has been driving me crazy, and I'm ready to start holding rude people accountable. Fortunately, I can use the corporate offices if the people here don't start to put pressure on people who are blatantly breaking their lease. It's right in there that you have to clean up after your animals. I'm not trying to get anyone evicted, but I'm hoping she at least feels the pressure to act like a grown-up and take care of her pets. Like, I wouldn't cry if she got a fine or something. Seriously though, it's painful to me that people like this even exist. She was so confident that she was somehow in the right that she didn't even try to lie about it. Like, woman, you aren't 12. The other people do it argument isn't going to hold up in court. Lol. I caught a glimpse of a comment mentioning that some people have to submit DNA of their pet, so if there's a dog turd that's been left somewhere, they can get like a DNA sample and send it off to a lab, and then that person gets charged for the lab test and a fine for the dog mess itself. I mean, it's a good plan. I just never heard of them doing that before. It's like, wow. Stardust says, wild. I don't live at a complex, but there's a trail near my house, and I thank my lucky stars they keep trash bags I can grab for my dog now, because before I'd have to grab leaves when I forgot to bring bags. But my brain remembered water and Tupperware to hydrate my dog. I've had to get diarrhea poop off trails with leaves, which is the worst. She has a sensitive stomach, but I can't imagine leaving poop right in front of someone. I'd be embarrassed. Opie says, yeah, there are bag dispensers in 3 spots around the main square, so they don't even have to go back to get them. It's just laziness and entitlement. But yeah, while things like that suck for sure, there are always instances where they weren't facing that kind of problem. I'm glad you're a good dog owner. I feel like going out of my way to praise people for basic decency when I see it. But Opie came in with an update and said, so yesterday I posted about having a nasty encounter with a neighbor of mine who is apparently too good to pick up after a dog. She made sure to let me know that I was the entitled one for not wanting dog poop all over the property. And she made sure to toss in some classist remarks expecting maintenance people to clean it up. Someone suggested in the comments that she might be the pathetic sort to come back and intentionally try to provoke us. I thought for sure she wouldn't be that dumb. Turns out, I was the fool for giving her that much credit. But it's a good thing she did, because I got a great video of her. I'm not going to upload it for a number of reasons, but I might if she tries to do it to me. It played out in Entitled Loser 101 to a degree that it almost felt unreal. I can't believe people like this truly exist. She came by, intentionally brought her dog right beneath our balcony this time, and waited. I was like, cool, let's record. So we sit there. She waits for her dog to poop, then she starts to walk away, of course. Proof. Thank you. However, as she walked away, she saw I was recording and turned back. She started shrieking, "Oh my god, are you trying to record me? You know that's illegal, right?" I said, yes, I am. It's not illegal, you're in a public place. She starts yelling at me to mind my own business and that none of this concerns me. I told her that it did concern me because I live here too, and I don't want a poop-covered apartment complex, nor do any of the other residents, I would imagine. She told me I didn't own the complex, like that makes it okay. Do you, Mom? We had a back and forth, and she started recording me back, telling me threatening things like, "Thanks for exposing yourself," implying that she's gonna dox me and put it online. Hopefully nothing comes of that just because I want my privacy, but I haven't done anything wrong, so I'm not worried about it otherwise. When that didn't upset me, as she clearly intended, she started trying to insult me, and it was hilarious. This is probably because of your weight. My best friend and I burst out laughing. She called me a fat bee, so I started recording again to catch anything else she might say. She told me she was reporting me, and I told her to please do it so they'd know who she was when I report her. It was freaking bonkers. This woman is a nightmare. I'm actually worried this is going to escalate into something even worse, but I guess we'll see. So the second she left, we took the video down to the front office. I showed it to one of the landlords who was appalled. I mentioned the day before and how that had gone down, and I verified that she was indeed breaking her lease. Also, the landlord thanked me for policing people who just leave dog poop behind. She said they've been trying to get people to take responsibility, and it's turning into a real issue. After that, she gave me her email and asked me to send her the videos. I did so, and now we'll see how it unfolds. I also told her that the woman threatened to report me, so she may actually call in herself and unintentionally turn herself in. I also mentioned worrying about potential retaliation so that it's just out there. If she calls the cops, I fortunately have videos, so she won't be able to make up anything about me harassing her or something. I've been told not to engage with her if she comes back again, but to just contact the office and tell them that she's here. I really don't know what to expect. I just wanted to enjoy a nice morning on my balcony. I'm seriously blown away. All this because someone asked you to pick up your dog's poop. What is this world coming to? Ultra Cyborg says, glad the apartment complex is taking action against her. Opie says same. I had no idea what to expect. I was so relieved talking to her. She was pissed, especially when I mentioned the part about her saying the maintenance people can just do it. I was worried they'd just brush it off, but they're taking it seriously. Katana says, honestly, this infuriates me. I'm a responsible pet owner. I've never not picked up my dog's poop, even if she goes on the vacant lot that is on our route. Opie says that's honestly one of the things that pisses me off the most. She's making other dog owners look bad. I know most dog owners are responsible and aren't entitled like this, but people remember the rude jerks more. It makes me so sad. Opie came in with one more update, which was titled potentially, hopefully, final update on Dog Poop Girl. Hey guys, sorry it's been a while. I know a lot of people have been wanting an update. Unfortunately, it's not as exciting as some of you were hoping for, but I'm actually happy with how things went down. So the very next day, Dog Poop Girl showed up again, but this time she didn't come over near our balcony. I don't know if someone in her life told her she was going to get in trouble or what, but it seemed clear she still wanted us to know she was just fine with what had happened. I emailed the landlords as they'd requested and said she was outside right now, etc. The office thanked me and then I never heard from them again. The next day, a different woman was walking her dog. I thought that was kind of weird, but I figured maybe she hired someone so she could leave that job to someone beneath her. For around a month or two, I can't remember the full timeline, we didn't see her, and we could only speculate. Maybe she lived with her boyfriend here. One of my roommates said she saw her with a guy, and he told her to stop staying over if she was going to cause problems. Maybe she got the fine and threw a temper tantrum and left. I figured she also could just be avoiding our side of the property. It was hard to say, but I was just glad to not have to deal with her. Finally, a couple of weeks ago, I was heading to the other side of the property, and I saw her with her dog. So she's still here, clearly just avoiding our side of the complex. And that is more than fine with me. No idea what went down throughout that period, and I'm not sure I ever will. I did notice she seemed to have dog poop bags with her this time though. Lol. I can only speculate that they caught her, fined her, and told her that there'd be more fines after that. I don't know what happened, but they took some sort of action with the dog owners in our building, because I now see every dog owner walking around with bags. The dog poop problem has gotten much better. Maybe knowing their neighbors were watching and tired of their nice walking area being covered in excrement motivated them to be more responsible. Here's hoping it stays at this level. I really don't like having confrontations, but I'm also not really one to put up with other people's crap. Hey, figuratively or literally. I know that some of you were hoping for a big explosion or some juicy details. Can we not say big explosion or juicy details when we talk about dog poo regarding this woman being put in her place? I'm personally just glad to not have to see her anymore. She never tried to retaliate, thankfully, and I'm guessing people in her life let her know she was digging her own grave. I actually wonder if part of why she avoids us completely is so that we don't see that she's being forced to pick up poop now, which is a hilarious thought. If anything else suddenly happens, I promise to update again, but as it is, it looks like this has sort of quietly solved itself. I do kind of wish I knew more details, just out of my own nosiness. But we can at least all be satisfied with the fact that she was absolutely convinced she was in the right, and it blew up in her face. She's probably still awful, of course, but at least someone is holding her accountable. I waited this long to see if anything else happened, but it looks like this might be the end of the story, which I'd honestly prefer. However, if anything comes up again, like I said, I'll let you all know. Thanks for sharing and venting with me while I dealt with a very, very frustrating situation. I appreciated all your comments and support. I used to have a manager when he saw people leaving dog poo on the local field where I used to work. This is the market research place. There's a massive field next to where we used to work, and we used to go out there and, just talk away and look at the field on a nice sunny day and just chill out, And there's loads of dog walkers on that field, especially on a sunny day. But my manager at the time, Irish dude, took no shit. Lovely as you like when you get to know him, but he comes across as very standoffish. But if he ever saw anyone leaving dog shit on the field, holy moly, he was straight over there. And rightfully so. He'd give him a lecture about, kids play on that field as well. I remember someone tried walking away right in front of us. The dog had a crap and he clearly never had no bags or anything. My manager said, "Oi, where you going?" And the guy turned around and was like, "Sorry, what was that?" And he said, "Where you going? You've just left dog shit on the grass." And the guy was muttering, I got no bags." So my manager dude went in and got a plastic carrier bag, like from a local supermarket or something. He just went, "There you go," and basically just stood over him while he picked up dog shit. But Alarmed quoted OP saying she's probably still awful, and Alarm says, "Oh, definitely. In my experience, the not picking up after pets is just a symptom of a much bigger issue with these people. They don't feel any social obligation towards their environment or the people around them, and that's not likely to change. At least she's evidently feeling the pressure over the poop thing though. Congrats." Yeah, and I'd probably agree with that comment. Just from stuff I've seen in the past, there's probably the tip of the iceberg with her. Probably a right nightmare neighbor to live next to as well. Obviously, I don't know, and I'm just assuming that. But in the end, I'm glad it all worked out for OP. Shaming her, and hopefully she did get a fine or two. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Have you ever dealt with a nightmare neighbor like that? Let us know your thoughts. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.